This week, the Bible really came to life as we read Deuteronomy, Joshua, and Judges in Israel. We got to visit so many historical locations like Jerusalem, Nazareth, Capernaum, the Sea of Galilee, and Timna Park.
We casually woke up at 1 a.m. to hike Mount Sinai, no biggie, and now we're just gonna go swim in the Dead Sea. Well, not swim, we're gonna go float in the Dead Sea. And then, later on tonight, we're just gonna be in Jerusalem because we can, the Lord is good.
My highlight was the Garden of Gethsemane. We went and walked through the garden, had some time to ourselves, and when I was praying I just felt like the Lord said, will you pray for my city? And so I was praying, and then we got together, and I just felt so much God's heart and was just weeping, and also feeling like, wow, he wept for Jerusalem, and here I am partnering with him in intercession for Jerusalem. So that was very special.
In the Garden of Gethsemane, I met Jesus, and that's my highlight from Israel.
So my highlight in Israel was the Garden of Gethsemane. I really love being there because Jesus was there and he put his hand on my shoulders. I really felt the presence of Holy Spirit. I love Israel.
My highlight from Israel was just seeing all of the crazy biblical places. The Mount of Olives was so cool, and the Garden Tomb was just super impactful too. And also the Garden of Gethsemane. It was just so good and so crazy to be there.
Garden Tomb, because it was amazing.
I loved going to the Garden Tomb, and it helped paint such a real picture in my mind of how close everything was together, the crucifixion site, and then where he was buried and resurrected, all right there was just so mind-blowing, and it was beautiful.
Garden of Gethsemane, that was amazing. That was an emotional roller coaster just sitting there. And then Hezekiah's tunnel was pretty fun. We walked that barefoot, and then Peter drank the water that my toes were in, so that's exciting.
This is Hezekiah's tunnel. He built it so that if or when people were coming to siege the city of David, they would have water access to the city. So he's taken it from outside the city in the Kidron Valley and brought it inside the city. So we are currently walking in it now. We've been in the cave for 25 minutes.
Going in Hezekiah's tunnel, that was so cool, especially when there was no lights. It was like Maze Runner or something. You just had to and not get hit, and it was so cool. So yeah.
Drinking out of Hezekiah's tunnel with Peter. Also drinking out of the Sea of Galilee with Peter. And beating Peter in rock, paper, scissors inside Hezekiah's tunnel, obviously. And then the Garden of Gethsemane. So good.
Hezekiah's tunnel, getting to walk through that was really, really cool, and being at the top of the city of David and being able to see the Mount of Olives, Mount Mora, Mount, all the different mountains was really cool, and being able to landscape everything was pretty cool. So.
So,
Where are we?
in the New Testament, when it's referencing in Acts that they were in the house, there's only one house here in Jerusalem, and that would be the house of the Lord as the temple. So, when the disciples were gathering in the house, waiting for the outpouring of the Holy Spirit after the ascension of Jesus, this is where they would have been, not in the mosque that's right in front of us, but these are the old stairs that would lead up to the temple. So this is potentially the spot that the disciples were sitting when the Holy Spirit came. This is also where Jesus would have walked up to go to the temple. Kind of a mind-blowing little spot.
I got the pleasure of being in Israel during their Independence Day. And not only did I get to be in Israel, I got to be at the Wailing Wall, where thousands of people were gathered, crying out for their nation. It was quite a touching moment, and definitely my highlight.
Going and standing on the Temple Mount. It was a moment that I had dreamed of for my entire life, and to really stand on it was a surreal moment. And then to be at the Wailing Wall on Israel's Independence Day was really a special experience too. So it was really special to just watch the Jews and receive God's heart for the people of Israel.
My highlight from Israel was the Sea of Galilee. I think that was just, got to take a boat on the Sea of Galilee, which was really cool.
Highlight from Israel was going to the Sea of Galilee and just looking at all the places and seeing that Jesus would have taught so many people there. And yeah, just reading in John also how good of a teacher Jesus was.
We are currently standing in the synagogue in the city of Capernaum, which is the synagogue of the town that Jesus basically made his home. So in this place he would have taught so many people, he would have discussed with the Pharisees and the scribes and the people listening, and he also performed so many miracles here as well.
I think all of Israel ended up being my highlight. There were just so many cool historical locations, like in Jerusalem, just seeing the city of David and Hezekiah's tunnel and just walking around in all this history, and then going on the Sea of Galilee in a boat and going to the shores of Capernaum and seeing where Jesus would have taught during so much of his ministry. And then in Nazareth we got to go to this living history farm where there were just people like explaining everyday life, and a lot of Jesus's parables really came to life there because it just showed like how much he took from daily life in order to teach the people around him.
Okay, so we were at Titna for one day. We spent the night there. In the morning we went to the tabernacle. So it was just so cool just be there in the middle of the desert, and yeah, just in the morning go to the tabernacle and know the meaning and how it was it. And yeah, it was really cool.
So we went to Timna Park, and they were giving us a tour of the tabernacle, and they said the bronze basin was made out of copper, and then the Egyptians, so the Israelites got the copper from the Egyptians, and the Egyptians actually got it from Timna Park, and there's like still mines there and everything, so that was really cool.
My favorite part of Israel was going to the tabernacle in Timna Park and just seeing how the tabernacle points to Jesus, and it's just been cool to see how the Old Testament all foreshadows Jesus, and just all the different references that are made in the Old Testament, especially in the tabernacle.
Hezekiah's my favorite thing in Israel was just going to each biblical site that we went to, how it just connected the Bible to what I've learned my whole life about the locations, and just like putting a face to the locations, and just really seeing and just understanding it better through the locations. Just understanding it all better now.
Okay, my highlights from being in Israel, first of all, was just having the chance to go to Israel. But it was more so like a revelation I had there. So we're walking in the places Jesus walked, and we're experiencing just a tad bit of the things he experienced. And I just was pondering about how beautiful it would have been to walk the earth at the time of Jesus. But then I was just hit with this crazy realization that Jesus said, I must go so that the helper may come, and he will lead you and guide you into all truth. So like, yes, it would have been such an honor to walk the earth while Jesus walked the earth, but also just this realization that it's such an honor to live today and to be able to experience the gift of the Holy Spirit and live and walk and move and breathe with him. Yeah, that was a highlight for me. Just a realization. Super cool.